First of all, thank you for being here. This is the Rules Confirmation Committee, Rules and Confirmation and Public Elections, and we're so glad that you're here. It is September the 4th, and we have a quorum, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We have the Hospital Authority that we'll take a look at, and the Charter Revision Commission, and we'll do that in just a moment because we're going to take the resolutions first so they can be recorded, and we have 4 of them, and we're going to start with Bednay, and that's Resolution RS 2018. You're doing a great job. 1387. It's Bednay, Mendez, and others, and this refers to the recognition of Anna Escobar and Jeannie Pupo Walker for their historic elections on August the 2nd of 2018. Bednay, Mendez, and others, and we have Councilman Bednay present. And could you tell us a little bit about why we have this particular resolution? We would be appreciative.
I appreciate the consideration, and I appreciate everybody that co-sponsored the legislation. I think most people around this table did, and I'm very thankful. There is a need to show people that they can actually be part of this country, and showing positive role models, people that are like them, that look like them, that talk like them, seeing them taking places of power and leadership. It's a good, positive way to encourage people to integrate and to be part of our community. So I just wanted to highlight the fact that we finally have a Latina judge in Tennessee and a school board member in Tennessee that happen to be Latinos, very qualified, but happen to be Latinos. So I was wanting to showcase that. So I appreciate the consideration, and I hope that you support it.
Thank you for that explanation. At this time, we'll hear from our committee. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns?
Move for approval.
It's been moved and seconded. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded for approval. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No? Okay, we have approved it.
Thank you,
Thank
Chair.
you so much. You're
Appreciate
so
it.
welcome.
Thank you, committee.
And next, Hall, Councilman Hall. Thank
We'll
you.
roll that to the heel.
Yeah, Councilman Hall is not present. Okay, we have referred to the Rules Confirmation Public Elections, the approval of elections of certain notary public for Davidson County. Can I get a
Move for approval.
second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposers? Thank you so much. Next, we have Blaylock.
Roll it to the heel.
Okay, so, thank you so much. At this time, we have the Charter Revision Commission, the reappointment of Ms. Adeline Behan for a term expiring September the 4th of 2022. Would you please come forward?
Yes. Do you want to take them together?
Yes, I do. And the reappointment, of Mr. Dewey Brandstetter Jr. for a term expiring September the 4th of 2022. And this is the Charter Revision Commission. Thank you for being here. Thank you for wanting to serve. First of all, are you all registered voters in Davidson County?
Yes.
So obviously you're residents of Davidson County.
Yes.
Do you serve on any other boards or commissions?
No.
No. Could each one of you tell us a little, we have your resumes up here, but could you tell us a little bit about yourself and why this commission is important to you?
Well, my name is Eileen Behan, and I've always lived in Nashville, and I actually remember when Nashville went and became a metropolitan form of government. I served on Metro Council for 2 terms from 95 to 03. Saw a lot of change, and part of the change that I saw during that time was with the council because of a revision in the charter in terms of term limits. And so I think as you well experience, the longer you're on the council, the more you appreciate the structure and the integrity that the charter gives. So I was very pleased once I left the council after term limits that I've stayed involved on the Planning Commission at one point and Greenways for Nashville, and since 2009 on this particular commission, because it does help us look at the integrity and help promote what this city wants to be.
And of course, this is a reappointment, so you've had a chance to really look at it up close and personally.
Yes.
Okay, any questions for this young lady?
How was it like when you were in the council? What was the most controversial issue you had to face?
I think she's asking, do you really pity us at this time?
It's called appreciation because it's amazing what you learn, and it is amazing also not just the structure of the government that you learn, but there's so many strengths in our community, and yet we will always need to be looking at what's the next thing we need to be doing. So.
Is there anything in particular in the charter right now that you think needs to be revised?
I think it would be really good to revisit what we need to about term limits. And I think one of the things that does need to happen, that's not we don't own it on the commission, but everybody else owns it, is to really educate people to understand the value of the institutional memory, the strength that a mayor's office has because we have these limitations as well. So I think that that's one of the things that in my adult life that has changed the most was when that change happened where there were term limits that went in.
That's good. Okay, any other questions?
Well, I was gonna say, probably Councilman Rosenberg, who's not here right now, would ask how y'all feel about the charter amendments that we put on the ballot for November. And one of them is the term limits moving to 3. One of them is, I think, slightly changing our oath that we that we swear to uphold the charter, which I think that hopefully that one will pass with flying colors. And I think there was another one that we passed to be on there.
Gender neutral.
Yes, gender neutral. Yes,
yeah.
I think I sponsored that. Okay.
Yeah, don't forget that.
Yes.
Right. So it sounds like those passed the charter revision committee with flying colors, and didn't know if y'all had any other thoughts or comments on that you wanted to share. All right.
I think we were happy to pass the ones, and I think that, as Eileen said, the main one being moving the term limits from 2 to 3.
Okay, so how do you feel about moving the term limits from 2 to 3?
Well, if I were the king of the world, there would be no term limits for members of the council. There'd be a 3-term limit for the mayor, like the way it used to be, but we were very much in favor. You lose, as Eileen said, you lose that institutional knowledge. And it's unfortunate because the first term you're really learning, as I'm sure y'all remember. And then the second term, you're kind of a lame duck. And so it's about the time you really hit your stride is you're moving on to something else, which is unfortunate.
And in my first term is when it went into effect, but over half of the members had not returned anyhow. So there was a natural way of making sure that people that there's new blood and interest that happened without having the limitations.
I asked on your behalf.
Yeah,
so,
she did.
So, since these are 2 of my personal friends and heroes, I would like to move for approval on both of them.
Well, I would
Unless
like to
Dave's got
also give Dave.
Can we use instant runoff voting to vote on their confirmation?
Just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah.
They're obviously fantastic, and we're lucky to have
So
them.
no other questions, concerns, or comments? So can I get a motion and a second, maybe?
Motion for 2.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay. well,
We
the
made
ayes have
it. So we get our parking passes.
Okay.
Yay!
Get in park pass.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
service. We really appreciate it.
Sell them outside?
Thank you so much. Next, we have another very important authority, and that's the hospital authority. Thank you so much. Could you all keep the noise level down, please? Next, we have the reappointment of Mr. Richard Manson for a term expiring September the 6th of 2023. And we have the appointment of Dr. Herman Williams for a term expiring September the 6th of 2019. Dr. Williams will possibly fill the unexpired term of Miss Sarah Finley. So we have 2 young men here. First of all, are you all residents of Davidson County?
Yes,
Are you registered voters in Davidson County?
yes,
Do you serve on any other boards or commissions?
no.
No. Okay, well, at this time, we'd like to open the questioning up to our committee members. Do y'all have any questions? You're recognized.
I was thinking that we had, but looking at this term expiration of next year, hadn't we appointed Miss Finley not that long ago? I was thinking, didn't we reappoint, pass it.
This would be 2 years had she stayed with us.
Okay, I was thinking we did that like 3 months ago. Time flies when you're having fun here. So I had voiced this on lots of our boards that we seem to have like turnover on. It concerns me when I see a lot of unexpired terms, but bless her heart, it had been 2 years and not the 3 months that I had thought. So carry on to the rest of the committee.
You sure?
Sure.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Yes, you're recognized, Council Lady.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think hospital authority is one of the very, very, watched, kind of scrutinized, board. So I do appreciate you kind of stepping up and try to take on this very, very difficult, issue. And as far as I think the budget is always a concern because we, the mid-year, and we have been asked to kind of appropriate additional and so forth. So, but this year we have kind of appropriated, we thought it will be up, appropriate for the hospital authority. Do you have any opinion or, your goal how to deal with within the budget and so forth?
Well, I think it's the council to be commended for giving us an opportunity to prove that this board and the management at the hospital can bring this hospital into solutions rather than always problems. And so I think what we've done is really look at our fiscal responsibilities, making sure that we are adhering to them, but in addition to that, begin to talk about other ways to generate revenue, where we're not always totally dependent upon any one source of income. If you recall, this hospital is for all of Nashville. It is not just for a certain segment. I think sometimes people get confused about that. And what we want to do is make sure that we meet our responsibilities that are set out in our mission statement, which essentially says that we are the hospital for every neighborhood in Nashville, Davidson County. I think that's gotten kind of lost. So in addition to us being very mindful of the budget restrictions, but also meeting our responsibilities to deliver quality health care to the people that we serve, then I think that it's a delicate balance that we have to strike in order to do that. But I think that the recent appointments that you all have made, the restructuring of the board, we're looking at having new leadership in the board at the board level so that we can allow management to finally, begin to run this facility as the facility should be run, with oversight, but not necessarily interference. So I'm excited about being on the board. I think I served through someone's unexpired term, and trust me, I looked at it very carefully before I decided to come back up here.
I'm sure, because when you talk about oversight, you have to have quite a bit of accurate insight too.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
And I think both of us, we just have a unique perspective on what might meet the needs of the community. And it's not sort of isolated to one segment, but it's isolated to meeting the needs of the entire Nashville community.
Okay, Doctor, what would you add to what has been articulated?
I would just say, I need to listen and hear the issues.
Yeah, you know, I understand that.
And I just understand the importance of being fair. And as Mr. Manson said, letting the team run the hospital, that's what they're for. And anything I can provide in my experience as a healthcare executive to offer, I'm there.
So in terms of expertise and in terms of the needs and the insight, what do you think that you really bring to the table that you could really expound on in terms of the needs?
Well, my expertise is in quality. I'm a chief medical officer, so I'm responsible for ensuring that there's quality.
Quality assurance is a good one,
That's right.
yeah.
We have 18 hospitals across America, so hopefully I can bring a breath of fresh air to what's going on here. We have hospitals of similar size, similar mission about their community. You know, we're not in big urban areas, we're in small, what we call regional hospitals, so I think there's a similar mission. And so again, I want to listen and learn and see how I can help the team.
Well, I'm going to say something, then if anyone else has a comment. Well, knowing Mr. Richard Manson for, oh my God, more years than I could even articulate, I know the board is in, or the authority is in good hands. You have such a pristine reputation in the community, and you always have. Before I even knew who you were, it was just the vernacular that people would use was always very positive. So,
Is he your constituent?
you think I'm getting paid or something? No, he isn't. Last I knew you in District 1. I don't know where you are now. I don't know. Next to John and Sheila? Maybe not. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, any other remarks, comments, questions?
I'll move for approval on, I think I move for the reappointment, and then I'll move for the appointment after that.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposers? No?
And then
Okay.
move for approval on the appointment.
Okay,
Second.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No one is in opposition of? Well, it's been moved and seconded, and all in favor of, and thank you. And we just thank you for your service, young man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We look forward to you.
And this is the first check right there.
It might be the largest check.
Get out the parking lot.
It might be the largest check.
Okay, so do you want to take late filed since we don't have the
Yeah,
resolution?
that would be
people here?
great.
Okay, so late filed is $12.90.
Tell Cole we said hello.
So that's
He didn't hear.
Colby.
Hello.
Colby,
Oh, yeah,
and
he's
then,
here. Thank
then
you. Thank you so
anonymous.
much.
Anonymous is me.
I think Cole is, I think Sledge is the anonymous. I'm glad you
Okay,
said that
okay.
because I looked high and low on the computer now. All right, well, we don't think about it, didn't we? Okay.
Just don't get
late
an
file.
Okay, so I can tell you one of them I'm not offered, which is the late file substitute, 12.
What number is it?
So late, it's a late file.
$12.90, you're not, okay. Not
Okay.
being offered.
Okay. 2018-91?
Yes. So
Okay. Okay, so here we have a move to amend substitute ordinance number BL 2018-1291.
Yeah, we're on
Okay.
this one. Amendment to the ordinance.
Amendment to the ordinance, right, 2018-1291. All right, sir.
So all this is, so last meeting, we put what's called the meets and bounds of the land that has been proposed to be in the ground lease, essentially the mixed-use development. It was attached administratively, the boundaries of that land. Out of an abundance of caution, the administration brought this amendment, but it was late filed. It literally has the legal descriptions of those 3 blocks. And I'm just asking for your
I think that's a good idea.
recommendation.
You know what, an abundance of caution is always good, isn't it?
Especially on these things.
Yeah. Okay, I'd like, does anyone have a question or?
Nope. I have no problem.
This is just,
Just.
we're not approving, it's just.
Yeah, no,
we're
but
okay
I
with
just
it.
still, if
Yeah,
you might
yeah.
want,
No
you might
objection.
have a question, no objections, that's a great way to put it. Councilor Dowell, no objection? No. Okay, all right, thank you so much, we thank you for coming in, and we have everybody
So-
on board for that.
We're now at Blaylock, and Hall, who have not sent letters or
Don't have a letter?
appeared before us.
So
Default by rule.
Councilman Hall is,
another
was
meeting?
stuck on
Okay.
a bill that he's got. What is
What
this?
about Blake?
So one is
Plastic
the
bags.
plastic bags, which we can just defer by rule, and then the soccer District 1 practice holdings.
That's the one he's debating right now. He's,
They're
Okay,
gone.
that's
are
hard.
they? Okay.
Just want me to grab them?
Please, I beg you.
Unless he wants it deferred by rule. Send us a carrier pigeon.
So how are you? How was your last meeting?
This meeting in here?
We're still on camera.
I think things are good.
Very good, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, could you come forward, young man? Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Resolution RS 2018-1386 by Councilman Hall. This request that is a request that the Metro Sports Authority of Nashville, its Soccer Holdings Development LLC, and the mayor designate Metro Council District 1 as the location for any practice facility eventually constructed for use by the proposed Major League Soccer team players. Okay, could you expound on that, Councilman Hall?
Non-binding resolution. It's just to make sure that we are in consideration for the practice facility. It's a conversation that actually started a few years ago when soccer first came up, because we have so many outdoor soccer fields that this would be the perfect location for it. Got an abundance of land, interstate access. You know, the Titans practice facility is in District 2 in Metro Center, but within a mile and a half of, us just over the bridge. And so we felt like it would be the perfect place to put it. And so we're just asking to be in consideration and start that discussion at an official level, as opposed to just it being, some conversation over the last, probably 18 months.
Can I get a motion? Okay, you have a question?
Just a question.
If you have a question, you're recognized.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think that's a good idea, and if y'all want to get started with the soccer thing, I have about 10 in my district. I'll be willing to let them know that you have some space available, because they're always fighting over soccer space out in our area. And we don't have any tennis courts or any other activities that the rest of us like to play or do. We can't walk because they're consumed with balls everywhere.
Right.
So that's good to know that I would like to discuss with you further, because we could move some of the leagues out there. I don't know, you probably know that when they took the jail and expanded it to one of our rugby leagues, and they are still complaining because they lost that field over there. Yeah, and I had no idea that you had some space.
Thank you. Councilor, you're recognized.
So my question to you is, this is a non-binding,
Yes.
so just a request to start the conversation. But this resolution does not exclude other, facilities such as,
Correct.
probably Rosenberg's district. That you do have, large area as well. So if other council member would like to jump in and, consider this, but it's not exclusively your district.
Bellevue's on a rock.
Yeah.
There's no place to go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Move for approval.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you so much, Councilman Hall.
Limestone. They're going to chunk it out of that limestone.
Yeah. You do have plenty.
But
And Blaylock is no-
They've been really upset about it.
Yeah, it was deferred by rule at the public
Deferred
works
by
as well.
She's still, okay, we'll defer.
We're done.
Okay, that's it. All in, can I move? Okay, move to adjourn. Thank you so much for your presence here.
Well, the ones that come in our area come from Brookwood.
Okay.
That one in that rugby team in East Nashville.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.